Hello and welcome to Lovely English Stories. Thank you for stopping by. This story is written for advanced English learners. Ready? Let's get started. C1, C2 English Story. A Living Museum. Anne and Jean, friends since childhood, set off towards their destination. They loved walking together, and today they were looking forward to ambling beside their local canal. The pair regularly met to explore new areas. They relished being out in the English countryside. Glorying in the sunshine, they meandered an off-beaten track towards the canal bank. Walking in the great outdoors made them feel better both mentally and physically. The countryside was a source of joy as they explored the unfolding waterside scenery, where the mix of countryside and wildlife was wonderful. The pair strolled along, aware of the peace and quiet, interrupted only by the birds singing. The air was alive with a chorus of birdsong, from the chaffinch, robin, and kingfisher to the quacking of the ducks on the water. If Anne and Jean were lucky, they might spot aquatic mammals like water voles or otters. On land, badgers, foxes, rabbits, and squirrels could be seen, the latter scurrying to their drays built in the tree branches nearby. The canal side was teeming with trees and plants. Trees were planted along the route for both necessity and as a vital part of the food web. Large trees provided wood for the lock gates, whereas without the smaller ones, wildlife would struggle to survive because of the lack of food and habitat. The willow herb, daisies, yellow iris and other flowers grow at the canal bank and are a food source for various pollinating insects, including butterflies, bees and hoverflies. It was rural bliss, but it was not always so. Before canals, the transport system which existed consisted of coastal shipping or horses and carts travelling on poorly maintained, largely unsurfaced mud roads. Canals were built to service the Industrial Revolution. They were used to transport raw materials and goods before the advent of mechanised transport, such as railways and motor cars. In the past, canals were the equivalent of motorways, so plenty of service areas existed. Many of the inns and pubs are still there where delicious food and drink can be enjoyed. Britain was the first country in the world to develop a nationwide canal network. Although no longer relied upon for transit and transport, it is an important recreational and heritage resource within the kingdom. The Romans developed the first canals, and much later during the Middle Ages. Henry I called for works to improve or renovate some of the earlier canals. Acts were passed to support these navigational improvements in England. Work was carried out to develop the towpaths of natural waterways. This improved navigability for horse-drawn boats passing through the canals. It was during the mid-1700s to 1800s that rapid industrialisation required an improved transport system. Early canals linked directly to trade were highly successful. The Duke of Bridgewater owned coal mines in Lancashire, which needed to transport coal to Manchester, 6 miles away. James Brindley designed the Bridgewater Canal, which took 2 years to complete. The construction of the Barton Aqueduct, taking the canal over River Irwin, is famous. The canal was a tremendous success, and it made the Duke a lot of money. Brindley went on to design nearly 400 miles of canal. By the 1840s, 4,500 miles of canals had been constructed. Boat people lived and worked on Britain's waterways. Around 18,000 families were existing in harsh conditions. Being a close community and living in overcrowded conditions contributed to the poor health of the fraternity. Filthy water caused diseases such as typhoid and cholera. Canal children were subjected to long working hours in poor conditions. As soon as children were old enough, they were expected to help with chores. The young soon learned how to operate the locks and lead the horses, playing their part in working life. The work was tough and lasted up to 17 hours a day. Some children were lent to other families to work in order to earn their keep. It was impossible for many canal children to receive a decent education because they were always on the move. In general, schooling was low on priorities, and there was poor attendance throughout the 19th century and into the early 20th century. Barges moved along the canals, pulled by mules or horses, which were attached to the boats by a rope. They trod the towpath, pulling the vessel behind them as they went. Vast amounts of heavy produce were moved, as well as fragile goods like pottery. Mail was also transported this way. Barges were capable of moving 30 to 40 tons of weight, far more than a pack of mules or horse-drawn carriages. This method was also faster than road transport and half the cost. Britain's canals were built by labourers known as navvies or navigators, the majority being English with a sizable Irish contingent. The canal system was officially known as the Inland Navigation System. Canals gradually became a defunct mode of transport, and their role was replaced by trains. As Anne and Jean enjoyed the peace and tranquillity of their walk, they reflected on how the waterways had changed, from industrial use to today, where the leisure boat industry is vast and continues to grow. Through delightful rural scenery, boaters, tourists and trippers alike can enjoy the beautiful countryside. The calming landscape enables people to live healthier, happier lives. Canals are like stepping into a living museum, where you can marvel at the engineering and touch all the exhibits. Many restoration projects have been led by canal societies or trusts to save the waterways from closure and to maintain abandoned canals from further decay. Contemplating this, the friends enjoyed a timeless scene, the feeling of history being almost tangible. Thanks to the grueling labour of canal workforces centuries ago and the ongoing conservation projects, Anne and Jean were able to luxuriate in their peaceful surroundings. Have you ever walked or cycled down a canal path? Tell us in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story. Thank you for stopping by. And don't forget to like, subscribe and share. See you soon.